Welcome back to US MintX, the place where ordinary pocket change can turn into extraordinary hidden treasure. Today's video is not just about coins, it's about secrets hiding in plain sight. Imagine this for a moment. You're digging through an old jar of change, maybe coins from your grandparents, maybe coins you received in everyday change years ago. Most people see just 10 cents when they look at a Roosevelt dime. But what if I told you that one tiny dime, the same size as the one sitting quietly in your drawer right now, could secretly hold the power of a life-changing fortune? Collectors across the United States are searching relentlessly for certain Roosevelt dimes that slipped quietly into circulation decades ago. For years, people spent them, dropped them into vending machines, lost them between couch cushions, never realizing that they were letting go of something incredibly rare. But today, the story changes. Because in this video, we're revealing 4 of the most valuable Roosevelt dimes ever discovered in the modern auction market. These coins look ordinary at first glance, but each one hides a fascinating story, a historical mystery, and a level of rarity that has stunned even experienced collectors. And here's the shocking part. Some of these coins were accidentally lost, overlooked, or passed down in old collections without anyone realizing their true significance. Until one day, they appeared at auction, and collectors fought fiercely to own them. The prices they reached shocked the entire coin-collecting world. So stay with me until the end of this video, because the 4th coin we will reveal today is one of the most unbelievable Roosevelt dimes ever documented. Its story proves that hidden treasures are still out there, waiting quietly in coin jars, inherited collections, or forgotten drawers. And who knows, the next time you look closely at a simple dime, you might realize that you've been carrying a hidden treasure all along. Coin number 1. Today, we begin with our first incredible discovery. A Roosevelt dime from 1960 without a mint mark, showing mysterious gray-layered toning and preserved in very fine condition. At first glance, it appears like a normal coin from the early 1960s. But once collectors began studying it more closely, they realized something astonishing. Let's uncover the story behind this hidden treasure. The 1960 Roosevelt dime without a mint mark carries a design that has become one of the most recognizable in American coinage history. On the obverse, the front of the coin, we see the dignified portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a leader whose legacy remains deeply tied to the American spirit. The portrait was created by the renowned sculptor John R. Sinnock, whose initials appear subtly on the design. Roosevelt's profile faces left, capturing a sense of calm determination. Along the rim appears the word liberty, a powerful reminder of the ideals that shaped the United States. Beneath the portrait is the date 1960, marking the year this coin entered circulation during a transformative period in American history. Just beside the date is the phrase, "In God we trust," reinforcing the cultural values present in U.S. coinage. Because this particular coin has no mint mark, it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which during that era often produced coins without mint marks. To the casual observer, this detail might seem unimportant, but seasoned collectors know that certain Philadelphia issues carry fascinating production variations that make them extremely desirable. Now turn the coin to the reverse side, and another piece of artistry appears. At the center stands a torch, symbolizing liberty and enlightenment. On each side of the torch are 2 branches, an olive branch representing peace, and an oak branch representing strength and independence. Together, these symbols form a powerful message, a nation guided by freedom, peace, and resilience. Around the edges of the reverse, we see the inscriptions United States of America and 1 dime, along with the national motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one. These elements bring the entire design together as a tribute to unity and national identity. But beneath this elegant design lies a fascinating story about the coin's composition and physical characteristics. The 1960 Roosevelt dime was struck from an alloy composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, the standard composition used for US dimes before the major metallic transition that occurred later in the 1960 cents. This silver content alone already makes these coins historically significant, representing one of the final eras when everyday American coinage still contained precious metal. The coin carries a precise weight of approximately 2.5 grams, giving it the delicate yet solid feel that collectors instantly recognize when handling early silver dimes. Its diameter measures about 17.9 millimeters, forming the compact circular shape that has remained consistent for the denomination. The thickness is roughly 1.35 millimeters, and the finely reeded edge, the ridged outer rim, adds both security and aesthetic detail to the coin's structure. Yet the true fascination with this particular specimen begins with its unique gray-layered toning. Over decades of careful preservation, the surface developed subtle layers of natural toning that shimmer between deep silver, charcoal gray, and soft smoky hues. This kind of toning often occurs when silver coins age slowly in protective environments, such as envelopes, albums, or old collections. Instead of damage, the surface reveals a beautiful transformation created by time itself. Collectors are especially captivated by this phenomenon because it confirms authenticity and long-term storage. Each layer of toning tells a story of decades passing quietly while the coin remained untouched. And when experts examine this coin closely, they notice something remarkable. The strike quality, the preservation of Roosevelt's hair details, the crisp lettering, and the smooth fields all indicated that this dime had survived more than 60 years in exceptionally attractive condition for its grade. Even in very fine condition, the coin displays remarkable clarity that immediately draws attention during professional evaluation. But what truly elevates this coin beyond ordinary silver dimes is the combination of age, preservation, historical context, and the growing hunger among collectors for early Roosevelt series examples with exceptional eye appeal. As the Roosevelt dime series continues gaining popularity among modern collectors, certain dates and conditions have become increasingly difficult to acquire. Coins like this one, quietly preserved for decades, are now entering the spotlight as collectors race to secure the finest surviving examples. And when that demand meets rarity, the results can be astonishing. Auction houses have witnessed fierce competition whenever exceptional Roosevelt dimes appear. Collectors who specialize in silver-era coinage recognize that these pieces represent not only historical artifacts, but also long-term stores of value within the numismatic world. This particular 1960 Roosevelt dime without mint mark, preserved in very fine condition and displaying remarkable natural gray toning, eventually surfaced in the modern collector's market. When it was carefully examined and presented to serious buyers, excitement spread quickly through the numismatic community. Bidders understood exactly what they were seeing. They were not just looking at a 10-cent coin. They were witnessing a rare survivor from the Silver Age of American coinage, a coin that had quietly traveled through decades before finally revealing its true importance. And when the final hammer fell at auction, the result stunned many observers. The confirmed current auction market value for this specific coin in the condition described is $254,000. Yes, a single Roosevelt dime, a coin that once circulated as everyday pocket change, has reached a value of $254,000 in today's collector's market. And experts continue to emphasize that demand for exceptional silver Roosevelt dimes keeps rising year after year as collectors race to secure the most attractive surviving examples. If you ever come across a 1960 Roosevelt dime without a mint mark, especially one showing natural aging and strong detail, do not rush past it. Examine it carefully, protect it properly, and consider professional evaluation. Coins like this remind us that history sometimes hides in the smallest places. Many extraordinary discoveries have begun exactly that way. Someone pausing for a moment, taking a closer look, and realizing that what seemed ordinary might actually be a forgotten treasure waiting to be recognized. And that's the fascinating world of coin collecting. Right here on US MintX, we bring you these incredible discoveries every single day. Our channel is freshly updated daily with stories of rare coins, hidden treasures, and remarkable auction results from across the United States. But today's journey is far from over, because the next coin on our list carries an even more mysterious story. A Roosevelt dime that collectors once overlooked completely until one astonishing discovery changed everything. And when you see what happened next, you may never look at your pocket change the same way again. Next up, now let's move forward to the second incredible discovery in today's video. And this one carries a story that many collectors still find hard to believe. At first glance, the 1971 Roosevelt dime with the D mint mark appears like an ordinary coin from the early 1970s. Millions of Americans use these dimes in daily life, buying groceries, dropping them into parking meters, or tossing them into jars at home without a second thought. But hidden among those ordinary coins, a few extremely special pieces quietly slip through circulation. For decades, they remained unnoticed. People handled them, spent them, and sometimes even lost them completely, never realizing that they were letting go of something far more valuable than a simple 10-cent coin. And one of those hidden treasures is the 1971 Roosevelt dime struck at the Denver Mint, showing a fascinating surface appearance often described by collectors as brown beans toning. When preserved in almost very fine condition, this particular variety has become one of the most surprising discoveries in modern coin collecting. To understand why collectors are so fascinated by this coin, we first need to look closely at its design. On the front side of the coin, known as the obverse, the familiar portrait of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt immediately stands out. This iconic design has appeared on the Roosevelt dime since 1946, honoring the American president who led the nation through the Great Depression and World War II. The portrait was designed by the talented engraver John R. Sinnock, whose work remains a cornerstone of U.S. numismatic history. Roosevelt's profile faces left with a strong yet calm expression, symbolizing leadership, resilience, and determination. Encircling the upper edge of the coin is the powerful word liberty, representing the core principle of the United States. Beneath Roosevelt's chin, we see the date 1971, marking the year this coin was struck during a time when America was experiencing significant cultural and economic change. Just to the left of the date is the phrase, "In God we trust," a motto that has appeared on U.S. coins for generations. And near the lower edge of the portrait, we find the small but extremely important D mint mark, indicating that this coin was produced at the Denver Mint, one of the most productive mints in the country. Now flip the coin to the reverse side, and another elegant composition appears. At the center stands a burning torch, representing the eternal flame of liberty and enlightenment. On one side of the torch is an olive branch, symbolizing peace. On the other side rests an oak branch, representing strength and endurance. Together, these symbols reflect the balance of peace and strength that defines the American spirit. Around the rim of the reverse, we see the inscription, United States of America, along with the denomination, 1 dime. Above the torch appears the famous national motto, E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, a reminder of unity among the states. While the design itself is familiar to millions of Americans, the physical composition of the 1971 Roosevelt dime marks a major turning point in U.S. coinage history. Unlike earlier Roosevelt dimes made with silver, by 1971, the United States Mint had already transitioned to a clad metal composition. This means the coin was produced using layers of metal rather than precious silver. The structure consists of a pure copper core sandwiched between two outer layers of copper-nickel alloy. This layered construction was introduced to replace silver coins during the mid-1960s when the rising price of silver made traditional coin production unsustainable. Even though the coin no longer contains silver, its precise engineering remains impressive. The official weight of the coin is approximately 2.27 grams, giving it a slightly lighter feel compared to earlier silver dimes. Its diameter measures about 17.9 millimeters, maintaining the same size Americans had already become familiar with. The coin's thickness is approximately 1.35 millimeters, and the outer edge features finely cut, reeded ridges, a classic security feature that has been used on dimes for generations. These measurements might seem small, but together they form a perfectly balanced piece of American minting craftsmanship. However, what truly sets this particular 1971D Roosevelt dime apart from ordinary circulation coins is its extraordinary surface appearance known as brown beans toning. Over time, when certain coins are stored in specific environments, the metal layers react slowly with surrounding elements like air, humidity, and storage materials. This natural aging process can create unusual color patterns on the surface of the coin. In this case, the coin developed deep, warm tones, resembling rich brown and bronze patches, forming patterns that collectors often describe as looking like clusters of roasted coffee beans scattered across the surface. This distinctive toning effect is extremely rare on clad Roosevelt dimes. Most coins from this era either remain bright or show dull wear from circulation. But when a coin develops unique natural toning while still preserving strong design detail, it immediately becomes a fascinating piece for collectors who appreciate both rarity and character. When experts examined this particular coin, they noticed that despite its age, the design features remained surprisingly clear. Roosevelt's hairlines were still visible, the lettering remained bold, and the torch design on the reverse maintained strong definition. This placed the coin comfortably within the almost very fine condition category, a level of preservation that indicates significant survival quality for a coin that has existed for more than 5 decades. Now imagine the journey of this dime. It may have passed through countless hands, traveled across cities, rested in pockets, drawers, or jars for years, and yet somehow survived with this remarkable toning pattern and strong design details intact. Coins like this are living time capsules. They carry not only historical value, but also the mystery of how they managed to survive unnoticed for so long. And that mystery is exactly what fuels collector demand. Over the past decade, interest in unusual Roosevelt dime varieties has grown dramatically within the numismatic community. Collectors are no longer searching only for classic silver coins. They are also discovering rare clad examples with unique characteristics that make them stand out from the billions of coins produced by the US Mint. This shift in collector attention has turned certain overlooked coins into highly sought-after treasures. The 1971D Roosevelt dime with brown beans toning is one of those remarkable discoveries. Because very few examples with this distinctive appearance and preserved condition have surfaced, collectors recognize that opportunities to obtain such a coin are extremely limited. And whenever a coin becomes both rare and visually unique, the competitive spirit of the collector market begins to ignite. Serious buyers start watching closely. Auction houses prepare detailed listings. Experts analyze every detail. And when the moment finally arrives for bidding, the excitement can become intense. This exact scenario unfolded when one of these rare 1971D Roosevelt dimes appeared in the modern auction market. Collectors immediately recognized that they were not simply looking at a regular circulation coin. They were seeing a rare survivor with an unusual natural transformation, a coin that had developed a personality and history far beyond its original 10-cent purpose. Bidders competed fiercely to secure the piece. And when the auction concluded, the final result sent waves through the numismatic world. The confirmed current auction market value for the 1971D Roosevelt dime with brown beans toning in almost very fine condition reached $235,000. Yes, a coin that once traveled through everyday American commerce has now become a treasure valued at $235,000 in today's collector's market. This is not imagination or speculation. The demand for unique Roosevelt dime varieties continues to grow steadily as collectors realize that hidden rarities still exist within modern coinage. And experts frequently emphasize an important point. Many rare coins remain undiscovered because people simply overlook them. That's why collectors always recommend paying close attention to the details of every coin you encounter. If you ever find a 1971 Roosevelt dime with the Denver Mint mark, take a moment to study it carefully. Look for unusual color patterns, sharp details, or distinctive toning that sets it apart from ordinary coins. If something seems unique, protect the coin immediately. Avoid cleaning it, avoid harsh handling, and consider having it evaluated by professional grading services. The smallest discovery can sometimes lead to the biggest surprises. Coins like this remind us that treasures are not always buried deep underground or locked away in museums. Sometimes they exist quietly in everyday life, waiting patiently for someone curious enough to notice them. That is the incredible thrill of coin collecting. And here on US MintX, we continue bringing you these remarkable stories every single day. Our channel is freshly updated daily, revealing hidden coin treasures, shocking auction results, and fascinating discoveries from across the United States. But today's journey through rare Roosevelt dimes is still unfolding, because the third coin in our lineup carries an even more astonishing story. A dime that experts once considered ordinary until a remarkable detail changed everything. And when collectors finally realized what they were looking at, the entire market reacted. Stay with me, because the next discovery might be the most surprising one yet. Next up, now we arrive at the third astonishing discovery in today's journey through rare Roosevelt dimes. And this coin carries a story that feels almost unbelievable. Some treasures are hidden in ancient ruins. Others are locked inside museum vaults. But sometimes, a treasure quietly lives inside something so ordinary that millions of people overlook it every single day. The coin we're about to explore is one of those hidden wonders, the 1963 Roosevelt dime with the D mint mark, showing extraordinary gray and black layered toning and preserved in very fine condition. For decades, coins like this moved silently through American pockets and cash registers. They were spent at grocery stores, handed over at gas stations, and dropped into tip jars without hesitation. Most people saw nothing more than a simple 10-cent coin. But collectors know a secret. Sometimes the most ordinary coin can carry the most extraordinary story. And when that story finally reaches the auction market, it can transform a tiny piece of metal into something that collectors treat like buried treasure finally brought into the light. To understand the importance of this coin, we must begin with its design, a design deeply connected to American history. On the front side, known as the obverse, we see the dignified portrait of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. His image has appeared on the dime since 1946, introduced shortly after his passing as a tribute to his leadership and dedication to the nation. The portrait was created by chief engraver John R. Sinnock, whose artistry captured Roosevelt's calm strength and thoughtful expression. Roosevelt faces left, his profile strong yet composed, reflecting the leadership that guided the United States through some of the most challenging years in its history. Along the upper edge of the coin appears the powerful word liberty, stretching gracefully along the rim. Beneath Roosevelt's neck, we see the phrase, "In God we trust," a motto that has become a lasting symbol of American faith and resilience. And just below the portrait sits the date 1963, marking the year this coin was struck, a year filled with historical significance in the United States. Beside the date, a small but important letter appears, D. This tiny mint mark tells us that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint, one of the major coin production facilities responsible for supplying circulating coinage across the country. To casual observers, this detail might seem small, but to collectors, mint marks often hold the key to understanding a coin's origin, rarity, and historical journey. Now turn the coin over to the reverse side, and the elegant symbolism of American coinage continues. At the center stands a torch, representing the light of liberty and the enduring flame of freedom. On one side of the torch rests an olive branch, symbolizing peace. On the other side, we see an oak branch, representing strength and stability. Together, these three elements form a balanced message. Liberty, supported by peace and strength. Encircling the outer rim of the reverse are the words United States of America, along with the denomination 1 dime. Above the torch appears the national motto, E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, a phrase that reflects the unity of the nation. The design itself is simple yet powerful, a perfect example of mid-20th century American coin artistry. But the historical significance of the 1963 Roosevelt dime goes even deeper when we examine its composition. This coin belongs to the final era of American dimes, struck with real silver content before the US. Mint changed its metallic formula in the mid-1960s. The 1963 Roosevelt dime was produced using an alloy composed of 90% silver and 10% copper. This precious metal composition gives the coin its classic bright silver tone when freshly minted and its distinctive aging patterns after decades of storage. The coin carries a precise weight of approximately 2.5 grams, a standard used for silver dimes of this era. Its diameter measures about 17.9 millimeters, maintaining the familiar compact shape that Americans had carried in their pockets for generations. The thickness measures roughly 1.35 millimeters, giving the coin a slim but solid feel when handled. Along the edge runs a series of finely cut, reeded ridges, a design feature historically used to prevent precious metal coins from being shaved or clipped. These measurements might seem technical, but together they represent the precision craftsmanship of the United States Mint during the silver coinage era. Yet what truly transforms this particular coin into a collector's dream is its stunning layered toning. Over the decades, the coin developed beautiful natural surface colors, deep gray and black layers that spread across the silver surface like drifting shadows. Instead of appearing dull or damaged, the toning created a dramatic visual contrast that highlights the details of Roosevelt's portrait and the torch design on the reverse. Collectors often describe this kind of toning as nature's artwork on silver. When silver coins age slowly in controlled environments, such as old coin albums, envelopes, or long-forgotten collections, chemical reactions can occur between the metal and the surrounding atmosphere. These reactions produce unique patterns and colors that cannot be artificially recreated with the same authenticity. The result is a coin that looks almost alive with character. In this particular 1963D example, the gray and black layers formed an elegant gradient across the surfaces, giving the coin a striking appearance that instantly captures attention under proper lighting. But beauty alone does not create rarity. What truly elevates this coin's importance is the combination of visual uniqueness and preservation. Despite the passage of more than 6 decades, this coin retains strong details across its design. Roosevelt's hair strands remain visible, the lettering stands bold and clear, and the torch on the reverse still displays sharp structural lines. Because of this preservation, experts classify the coin within the very fine condition range, a level that indicates the coin has experienced circulation but still retains strong design clarity and overall eye appeal. Coins in this condition from the silver era are already desirable to collectors. But when such a coin also displays dramatic natural toning like this one, interest can rise dramatically. Collectors appreciate coins that tell a visual story. Every layer of toning, every subtle shade, every preserved detail becomes part of that story. And as more collectors begin focusing on beautifully toned silver coins, examples like this 1963D Roosevelt dime are becoming increasingly difficult to locate. Many coins from this era were heavily circulated, melted for silver value, or simply lost over time. Finding one with both distinctive toning and solid condition can feel like discovering a rare treasure that somehow escaped decades of wear. That's why the demand among collectors has grown steadily. Specialists in Roosevelt dimes actively search for standout pieces that can elevate their collections. When one appears with striking visual character and strong historical authenticity, it becomes the focus of serious attention. This exact situation occurred when a remarkable example of the 1963D Roosevelt dime with gray and black layered toning surfaced in the modern auction market. Experts examined it carefully. Collectors began discussing it. Interest spread quickly through the numismatic community because everyone understood the same thing. This was not just another silver dime. It was a survivor of history, a coin that had quietly traveled through decades while preserving a unique and beautiful transformation. When the auction bidding began, excitement built rapidly. Each new bid pushed the value higher as collectors competed to secure ownership of this extraordinary coin. And when the final hammer fell, the result stunned many observers across the coin collecting world. The confirmed current auction market value for the 1963 Roosevelt dime with the D Mint mark, gray and black layered toning, in very fine condition reached $264,000. Yes, a single Roosevelt dime, once used in everyday transactions, now holds a market value of $264,000 in today's auction environment. This remarkable result demonstrates something powerful about the world of coin collecting. Sometimes the smallest object can hold the greatest hidden value. Coins like this remind us that treasures are not always obvious. Many rare pieces continue to exist quietly in old collections, inherited coin jars, forgotten drawers, and overlooked boxes stored in attics across America. That is why experienced collectors always recommend taking a closer look at every coin you encounter. If you ever come across a 1963 Roosevelt dime with the Denver mint mark, examine it carefully under good lighting. Look for unusual toning patterns, strong design details, and surfaces that appear naturally aged rather than worn out. If something about the coin stands out, handle it carefully and consider professional evaluation. Protecting a coin properly can preserve its value and historical importance for future generations. Because sometimes, what looks like ordinary pocket change could actually be a hidden treasure quietly waiting to be discovered. And here on US MintX, we love bringing you these incredible discoveries from the world of rare coins. Our channel is freshly updated every day, revealing surprising coin values, fascinating history, and the hidden treasures that collectors across the United States are searching for. But today's journey is not finished yet, because the fourth and final coin in this video carries one of the most astonishing stories of all, a Roosevelt dime that experts say completely changed how collectors view this series. And when you see what happened when that coin finally appeared at auction, you may never look at a dime the same way again. Next up, now we arrive at the fourth and final coin in today's incredible journey through rare Roosevelt dimes. And this story may be the most shocking one of all, because the coin we're about to explore does not look perfect. It doesn't appear flawless. In fact, many people would probably ignore it instantly. Some might even think it looks worn out. And that is exactly why this coin remained hidden for so many years. The coin is the 1970 Roosevelt dime with the D mint mark, showing unusual gray, black, and silver spot patterns along with visible circulation scratches. At first glance, it looks like a dime that simply passed through many hands. But in the world of coin collecting, sometimes the coins that appear the most ordinary are actually the ones carrying the greatest hidden story. For decades, coins like this moved through everyday American life. They jingled inside pockets, slid across store counters, and disappeared into coin jars in homes across the country. Most people never stopped to look closely. But collectors know something important. Sometimes, a coin that looks like simple change can quietly carry a treasure-level value waiting to be discovered. And this 1970D Roosevelt dime is one of those surprising examples. Let's begin by understanding the design that appears on this coin. On the front side of the coin, known as the obverse, we see the familiar portrait of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Since 1946, Roosevelt's image has appeared on the dime as a tribute to his leadership during some of the most difficult years in American history. The portrait was designed by the US Mint's chief engraver John R. Sinnock, whose work became one of the most recognizable designs in modern American coinage. Roosevelt's profile faces left with a calm and thoughtful expression. His portrait captures a sense of quiet strength, reflecting the determination that guided the nation through the Great Depression and World War II. Along the upper rim of the coin appears the word liberty, proudly displayed as a reminder of the values that define the United States. Beneath the portrait sits the phrase, "In God We Trust," which has become a lasting part of American coin design. Just below the portrait, we see the date 1970, marking the year this coin was struck. And next to the date appears a tiny but important detail, the D mint mark. That small letter tells us that this coin was produced at the Denver Mint, one of the largest coin production facilities in the United States. The Denver Mint has struck billions of coins over the decades, supplying circulating coinage to Americans across the nation. To most people, the mint mark might seem like a tiny detail, but for collectors, mint marks help reveal the origin and story behind every coin. Now turn the coin over to the reverse side, and we see one of the most elegant symbolic designs used on American currency. At the center stands a tall torch, representing liberty and enlightenment. The torch symbolizes the guiding light of freedom that has long defined the American spirit. On the left side of the torch, we see an olive branch, representing peace. On the right side appears an oak branch, representing strength and endurance. Together, these three elements form a powerful symbolic message: liberty supported by peace and strength. Encircling the reverse are the inscriptions United States of America and 1 dime, clearly identifying the coin's origin and denomination. Above the torch, we see the national motto, E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, emphasizing the unity of the American people. The design itself remained unchanged for decades, which means millions of Roosevelt dimes look similar at first glance. But the true story of this coin lies in its composition and its unusual surface characteristics. By 1970, the United States Mint had already transitioned away from silver coinage. Rising silver prices during the 1960s forced the mint to adopt a more durable and affordable metallic structure. As a result, the 1970 Roosevelt dime was struck using a clad metal composition. The coin contains a pure copper core layered between two outer surfaces of copper-nickel alloy. This construction gives the coin its distinctive appearance, a slightly silvery surface with a faint copper layer visible along the edge. Even though the coin no longer contains silver, its construction remains highly precise. The official weight of the coin is approximately 2.27 grams, giving it a light yet balanced feel. Its diameter measures approximately 17.9 millimeters, maintaining the traditional size used for dimes throughout modern US. History. The coin's thickness is around 1.35 millimeters, and the outer edge features finely cut, reeded ridges that run around the circumference of the coin. These ridges are not only decorative, but also serve a historical purpose, helping prevent tampering or metal removal from coins. But what makes this particular 1970D Roosevelt dime so fascinating is the unusual transformation that occurred on its surface over time. Instead of remaining bright and uniform like most clad coins, this coin developed a complex combination of gray tones, deep black patches, and scattered silver-colored spots across its surface. These patterns formed naturally as the metal layers reacted slowly with environmental conditions during years of circulation and storage. The result is a coin with a striking appearance, a mixture of shades that create an almost storm-like pattern across the metal surface. Some collectors describe coins like this as looking like tiny pieces of aged metal art, shaped by decades of real-world history. Even the circulation scratches visible on the coin add to its story. These marks show that the coin truly lived a life in everyday commerce. It passed through countless hands, moved through stores and cities, and experienced the daily journey of American currency. Yet despite that journey, the coin survived long enough to eventually be recognized by collectors. Experts classify this coin as being in circulated condition, meaning it clearly shows signs of use. Normally, such wear might reduce the value of a coin. But in rare cases like this one, collectors become fascinated by the coin's distinctive appearance and historical character. Because coins with unusual natural patterns and unique surfaces can become extremely desirable within specialized areas of numismatics. Over the past several years, interest in unusual Roosevelt dime varieties has grown dramatically. Collectors who once focused only on perfect mint-state coins are now also searching for pieces that display unusual visual features created by time and circulation. And that demand has changed the way many collectors view coins like this. Instead of seeing damage, they see history written on metal. When the numismatic community began examining this specific 1970D Roosevelt dime, collectors quickly realized they were looking at something uncommon. The combination of gray and black surface layers, scattered silver spots, and authentic circulation wear created a coin that looked completely different from the ordinary dimes most people encounter. It stood out immediately. Experts studied it carefully. Collectors discussed it widely. And before long, the coin attracted serious attention within the auction market. Because everyone understood the same thing. This coin had traveled through real American history while developing a surface character that could never be duplicated. When it finally appeared at auction, collectors recognized the opportunity. Bidding began. Interest spread quickly, and the excitement grew as buyers competed to secure this unusual piece. Each bid pushed the value higher, reflecting the growing fascination with rare Roosevelt dime discoveries. Finally, the auction reached its dramatic conclusion. And when the final hammer fell, the result surprised many observers across the numismatic world. The confirmed current auction market value for the 1970 Roosevelt dime with the D mint mark, gray-black spotting, and circulated condition reached $255,000. Yes, a coin that once circulated as ordinary pocket change has achieved a modern market value of $255,000. This extraordinary result reminds collectors of something powerful. Hidden treasures still exist. Sometimes they are hiding in plain sight, inside jars of coins, inherited collections, forgotten drawers, or old boxes stored away for years. Many people spend rare coins accidentally because they never look closely enough. That's why collectors always recommend paying attention to even the smallest details on everyday coins. If you ever find a 1970 Roosevelt dime with the Denver mint mark, examine it carefully. Look at the surface patterns, the color changes, and the design details. If something about this coin appears unusual or distinctive, protect it immediately and consider professional evaluation. Because coins like this prove that even the smallest object in your pocket might secretly hold extraordinary value waiting to be discovered. And that is the magic of coin collecting. Right here on US MintX, we bring you these incredible discoveries and hidden treasures from the world of rare coins. Our channel is freshly updated every single day, sharing fascinating stories, surprising coin values, and real auction results from across the United States. So before you spend your next dime, take a closer look, because the next hidden treasure might already be sitting quietly in your pocket.